Hello, everyone, and welcome to this info session on Shopify's Apprentice Product Manager program, also known as the APM program. You will hear about who Shopify is and what we're all about, the APM program, and what to know when applying, and we'll hear from some current and past APMs as well as an APM lead to help you learn what it's truly like to be in the program. To kick it off, and before we get into our APM program, let's talk about what Shopify is, who we are, and what we aim to do. At Shopify, our foundation is that every business starts with an idea, and Shopify is here to make commerce better for everyone, everywhere. I always like to call Shopify an entrepreneur empowerment tool, because our mission is to make being an entrepreneur and a merchant easier and better for everyone. Because of its usability and scalability, Shopify is the retail operating system behind some of your favorite brands and small, large, and massive entrepreneurs, offering both e-commerce and brick-and-mortar solutions. If you take all of Shopify's US merchants and aggregate their online sales, Shopify is now the second largest online retailer in the US ahead of eBay and Walmart. Shopify helps aspiring entrepreneurs go from just an idea to a thriving, fully scalable business. And we provide merchants with all the tools they need to start, manage, and grow their businesses. To help our merchants who are all in different stages of their journey, the Shopify product has to be both complex and sophisticated, while still being simple to use, and has to be ever-changing to adapt to the world around us. Within and at Shopify, we have 6 core values that we use to guide our work and decisions. 1. Be impactful. We're building a company where everyone has the potential to have a positive impact on our business, whether that's through products, technology, or people. This is at the core of everything we do here, and there is only so much impact you can have alone, so we are really big on collective impact and working interdependently. 2. Be merchant obsessed. Shopify is a product company, and everything we do is done with merchants at the forefront. The products we build are critical to their livelihood and the success of their business. 3. Make great decisions quickly. Our merchants are operating in real time, so we have to move fast and adapt quickly to changing environments. We balance having enough context to make informed decisions, but not waiting too long until the opportunity has passed. We trust decision makers to make the most informed choices for our merchants, products, and people. 4. Thrive on change. Commerce is always evolving, Shopify is ever-changing, and change is constant. You may feel overwhelmed in this environment. Terms like imposter syndrome or breaking may resonate with many employees. But this is normal and somewhat expected here, and it's a part of growth. If we want our growth to actualize, we need to see and appreciate the benefits of change and learn to thrive in an environment that's always moving. If we have learned nothing else these past 4 years, it's that things are going to change, and we have to change with them. 5. Be a constant learner. Because change is constant, you have to be a deliberate learner. Acquire new information or experience a new concept or skill, practice it, and then self-reflect. To have the greatest impact, we have to identify gaps in our skills and knowledge and develop them. Everyone at Shopify is both a learner and teacher. Learning in isolation doesn't work. We need to teach one another, share context, mistakes, and learnings so we don't repeat them. And lastly, 6. Build for the long term. We want to be a 100+ year company. To do this, we need to build solutions for our merchants that can adapt to whatever the world throws at them and us. We're intentional in building solutions that will define the future of commerce, and we believe the future of commerce has more voices. So we're reducing the barriers to business ownership to make commerce better for everyone, not just today, but for the future. Now to dive a little deeper into our APM program. Shopify's APM program aims to create new pathways into product management, because breaking into this craft isn't always clear. There isn't a clear degree or path into product management, so you can end up as a product manager through a broad range of experiences. This program hopes to make product more accessible and more open to people from various backgrounds, and to help shape the future of product at Shopify and the wider product world. Our VP of Product, Carl Rivera, who is a big supporter of this program, talked about our goals of shaping the future of product with this program and said, Shopify is redefining commerce and entrepreneurship. This program is where our senior product leaders begin their journey. We mentioned Shopify being a 100-year company, and one way we can do that is to continue to have great early talent programs that build our future leaders. The APM program gives our participants the skills, opportunities, and support to learn about product and expedite their career launch through hands-on experience. This program is designed to accelerate your development and career in product. Over the course of 12 months, you will learn and have hands-on experience in the product craft, including product strategy, ideation, development, execution, team management, and delivery. APMs will work on a variety of multidisciplinary teams, shipping products to merchants around the world. You will work with engineers, designers, and data scientists to ship great work. In addition to having incredible hands-on experience working in product at an incredible company, Shopify APMs also receive some awesome perks and benefits. Shopify is a digital by design company, meaning we work remotely. Our APM program is also totally remote, but we do have offices that you can drop by. They are in New York, Toronto, Montreal, and Ottawa. The program is a paid position and offers benefits and coverage to its participants. We also have a very cool offering called Destination 45, which allows APMs to work from almost anywhere with an appropriate visa for up to 45 days during their time in the program. APMs will also receive a digital by design workstation, including a laptop and monitor. You will participate in our formal learning curriculum with subject matter experts in the product field and have a budget to use towards your own professional development. Shopify also has dedicated coaches to help guide your career development in addition to the coaching and mentorship you'll receive through the program. Again, the experience and impact you'll have is the best part of the program, but these perks and benefits make it even better. To apply to our program, we do not have any academic requirements. We are open to new grads, career switchers, and those with less than 1 year of full-time product management experience. Because this is a very challenging and fast-paced role, 1+ years of experience working collaboratively, having an impact, and clearly communicating in a professional work environment is preferred. The APM program is a 12-month program with 2 team placements, which we call rotations. Each rotation will be on a separate team in a different part of the company. Our next cohort start date is in September 2024. We do convert APMs into full-time employees, but this is not guaranteed. If and when you do convert to full-time, there is a constant push and requirement to improve each year. This program holds a high bar for conversion, and not every participant will reach it. We support you through your journey and set you up for success through your rotations and learning opportunities. But successful completion and a full-time role are entirely dependent on your own performance and impact through the program. It's also very important to note that this is not an internship. You do not need to be a student to apply. And if you are a current student, you must be graduated by the cohort start date and eligible to work as a full-time employee by the end of the APM program. This is a 12-month commitment with the opportunity to continue at Shopify as a full-time employee at the end of 12 months. In order to be eligible for the program, you must have legal work authorization to work from Canada or the US for 40 hours per week. Shopify will not provide any visa support. Additionally, you must be able to join and start the program as of September 16, 2024, no exceptions. As well-selected APMs must begin the program on September 16. All APMs must also be able to work from 9 to 5 in their local time zone. We are a digital by design company, but we still have core working hours. And lastly, this is an extremely fast-paced and intensive program. We need APMs who have a history of accomplishing great things and overcoming adversity. Our next hiring cycle and application will be for our next cohort, which starts in September 16, 2024. The application will go live June 14, 2024, and will be open and accepting applications until 11:59 p.m. PST on June 18th. The first stage of the application process is the initial application. This entails a resume submission and some questions, both multiple choice, to see how well you can problem solve, and short answer so we can learn a little more about you and some of your capabilities. We will review applicants for roughly 3 weeks and will respond to all applicants, whether you are selected for an interview or not. Those who are selected for an interview will be invited to our first stage interview. This first stage will be comprised of 2 interviews. One stage will be a life story conversation with one of our recruiters. Here you will share your past experiences, learnings, and journey up to today. The other interview stage will be a conversation with one of our product managers where you will go over some low-level product skills. Those who successfully move on from this interview will be invited to our second round of case study interviews. The second round case study will be a 60-minute interview with a longer portion set aside for the case. In this case study, we are looking for applicants to go into greater depth of solutioning and also look at alternative solutions and their trade-offs. We will be looking at how you approach discovering and defining a problem, consider why the problem is worth solving, and how you hypothesize and solution. Following the second case study interview stage, we will make offers to join the Shopify APM program. Once an APM cohort begins, we go through our placement process, which involves a 2-way matching process between APMs and leads. We ensure each APM goes to a team with a roadmap of appropriate work for PMs that allows them to learn, build skills, and get hands-on work experience. Now, to help you better understand the program, we'll hear from a current and past APM and an APM lead. We'll hear from Sam Wong, who is a product lead with our monetization team and who has led multiple APMs. Shubgar, who is a graduate of the APM program and now a full-time product manager on our addresses team. And Amy Wong, who at the time of recording was a current APM participant starting their second rotation and has since converted to being a full-time product manager. So, to kick it off, what does a day in the life of an apprentice product manager or product manager look like in Shopify?
The cool part about being a product manager generally is that no day looks the same. So a day in the life as an APM is really different every day, but it mimics closely what you would do as a product manager. You learn from a lot of people around you, you get to decide what to build, how to build it, and when to build it, and you're really making intentional decisions that unblock your team to create great things.
This can vary a lot from team to team. I can speak to my own experience as a growth PM. We use an internally built tool called the Vault to track all the different stages of our projects in the product development process. I think it summarizes it pretty well. So the first phase is really conducting discovery about a problem space. You might be interviewing merchants, you might be looking at qualitative data, maybe some quantitative data around your funnel to really understand what is a problem that is worth solving and what the impact of solving that problem is. As your proposal gains traction, you're going to align with your team that it is the right problem to solve, but you'll also be working with R&D teams like design and engineering and other teams like finance, legal, marketing, support to tighten up the details and the scope of what you should actually build. Of course, as you move forward with that project, you're going to be going through build and launch and having communication with your stakeholders, working with the executive team to make sure they're aligned on what you're building. And finally, you're going to be analyzing your launch, where you not only need to understand the effects on your success metrics from your launch, but also use the data to really tell a story about what you've learned, how you're going to inform your future strategy. So throughout the product development process, you're going to be doing a little bit of execution work, some strategy, some alignment, working with a ton of different stakeholders across the organization. It's a very, very varied job.
Again, it'll be very different, but on average, if ChatGPT had to kind of summarize one of my days in a week, it will be kind of the following. So starting of every morning, we'll have I personally like to put down some heads down time for planning sessions because every day is so dynamic. Sometimes it's very easy to get lost in the weeds of just fires I have to put out or this thread that I have to get back to. So I always book some heads down time so I can plan my day, my to-do list, and also my meeting notes because PMs are notorious for having a lot of meetings, but meetings get us to places. So on average, I have at least anything between 1 to 3 one-on-ones during a ordinary day. And one-on-ones can be my one-on-ones with my manager, my skip, my trifecta or multifecta partners. So people like dev managers, data science managers, analytics lead, or even design managers. So those one-on-ones help us get on the same page. Sometimes we do one-on-one on a more ad hoc project basis. Sometimes we do just weekly one-on-ones just to catch up and make sure that we're on the same page. Other than one-on-ones, we also have the meetings time. Also, I usually have anywhere between 2 to 4, sometimes even more meetings, given kind of where we are in terms of the planning cycle. The meetings, we try to keep them as small as possible and only invite the relevant stakeholders and put people as optional. But meetings are very important in terms of just giving us a very safe space to express their opinions, their thoughts on a roadmap, a strategy, or very technical things of what are we doing next and what are we tackling this week. So meetings are great rituals, and we have different forms of meetings: project syncs, stand-up meetings, weekly sync, bi-weekly sync, monthly sync, and all that fun stuff. But meetings are important for PM. And finally, I always try to squeeze in some heads down time in between meetings and one-on-ones for action items. So after every single meeting as a PM, you can really expect to spend some time looking at what's been discussed, what's next, what are some things that I have to do to support my team, just so that you capture those action items and you spend time kind of working on those action items. And then rest of the time on context gathering as well as documentation, because we want to be able to document everything that we are working on so that nothing is lost in the weeds of things, as PMs do get pretty busy. And finally, do log off on time and never really overwhelm yourself with the amount of things that's going on in the world. So always remember to set a log off time at the end of every day, just close your laptop, and enjoy the rest of your day. So that's like my day.
What makes a great product manager?
3 things, in my opinion: curiosity, adaptability, and confidence. So curiosity is one of those intangible things that you cannot be taught. You're not going to learn it from any amount of books or podcasts that you're listening to. Generally speaking, a product manager who is curious, who always wants to understand why, who can put aside their assumptions and really get to the true problem to solve, is going to be very successful. Always keep asking questions, try to challenge your assumptions, think about what is the true problem you want to get at, and that's going to help you always go back to first principles and be a great product manager. Second thing is adaptability. When you're a product manager, you're not always going to get things right the first time. A lot of the strategy and getting alignment is around taking inputs from other people and being able to adapt your point of view or adapt how you're going to solve that problem based on the inputs that you're getting. So adaptability is really, really key. You got to focus on where you can add value, listen to all of the inputs that you have, and be able to change things up and figure out your strategy as you go. And the last thing is confidence. There's a really great podcast on Lenny's podcast with one of the Google PM leaders around confidence. Confidence is so critical to being a product manager. Our sole responsibility is to drive forward building the right thing at the right time. And in order for you to know that you're building the right thing, you have to have confidence that you're building that right thing. And you have to influence other people that that's the right thing to be building. So confidence absolutely is critical. Different people build confidence in different ways, whether that's, again, doing your research, doing a lot of product discovery, looking at data. But having the confidence and being able to present an idea and a clear narrative around something with confidence is super important to being a great PM.
What has been or what was the best part of being in the APM program?
To me, the best part of being in the APM program was the access to learning you have. You're surrounded by really brilliant people and you're allowed to fail a ton, which really gets you to that next level in terms of product.
So I would say the best part of being in the APM program is really the opportunity for aspiring product managers to learn product on the job. I think one of the biggest takeaway that I got from this program is we are given as an APM cohort a lot of space to actually make mistakes, to break things, and to break things at a pretty fast speed, which you don't really get the opportunity if you're enrolled in the APM certification program or just be in a pseudo product role. The APM program, we put a lot of, or at least the APM Leads as well as the program itself, put a lot of thought into creating a very safe space for all of the APMs to learn, to absorb in context, and autonomy to really build, ship, learn from your mistakes, and celebrate the wins. So I think that's probably the best part. And then I'll just add another thing that I've learned that I found really valuable is the fact that when I was enrolled in an APM certification program or like a PM certification program, we were taught these models, these frameworks that we should use on the job. But when I got into the APM program, I realized most of the things that we do as a PM is a lot more fluid than just, hey, apply this model, put in these contexts, and you'll get the answer at the end of the model. So the fluidity and the learning on the job is probably the 2 best things that I've learned from this program.
How does Shopify and the APM program approach mentorship?
During the APM program, I really took advantage of the mentorship that was offered. Whether it was my lead or other product managers, you get the grace to really ask all of the dumb questions you can, and taking advantage of this truly helped me become the PM that I am today, and probably will help me become the even better PM I hopefully will be in a few years.
Shopify is filled to the brim with impressive people you can learn from. I'm always floored by the vast amount of experience that we have in the company and the leaders that we have working here. You can reach out to anyone at any time for a coffee chat and start building that relationship. I frequently jam with other PMs on ideas and proposals across the org. So with all mentorship, you get out what you put in. And that is especially true as the mentee or the person who is receiving advice. So there is tons of opportunity here to learn, to be mentored, but you need to take the initiative and be clear about how a mentor can help you. And you need to drive that relationship forward and drive the agenda forward.
So I think mentorship is definitely a very big selling point, or I guess value proposition of the Shopify APM program. My lead, big shout out to Alex, my lead for my first rotation, has been extremely supportive in terms of my career development, as well as having very open and honest feedback conversations with me regarding my performance, where I am currently at, and what I need to do to get to the next level. We have these rituals that I do with my lead, where we have a bi-weekly career check-in, where we don't talk about the projects necessarily, like we don't get into the weeds of project planning or proposal planning, things like that, but just talk about my role as an APM on the team. We use the start, stop, and continue framework. I can't remember the exact framework, but we talk about the things that I am doing and that I am doing well and I should continue to do. He'll always come in with really tactical and thoughtful feedback on things that I can start doing so that I can get to the next level of becoming a better PM. And you'll always, if there is any, just give me feedback on things that I should stop doing, but also kind of act as a point where we can have really honest, constructive criticism. And we also structure this mentorship session as a bilateral feedback session, where I also provide him with feedback in terms of his role as an APM lead, as a mentor, as a product leader who is leading a mission at Shopify. So I think that has been extremely, extremely helpful. And I think I've been giving this recommendation to all of my APM classmates within the cohort, that they should also be having these bi-weekly or monthly check-ins with their lead, as well as their skip lead or director, as it kind of gives you additional perspectives in terms of where you are in terms of your APM journey, and how can you kind of level up your product game to the next level.
What have you learned in your time as an APM?
Oh man, I've learned so much during my time as an APM. So if I had to list one thing, it would be that I really understood what it takes to create a giant impact within such a large company. There are a lot of moving parts, and being an APM really shows you how to navigate them well and deliver something that creates outstanding value.
So I think I've learned a couple really interesting takeaways that I did not expect when I started the APM program. So number one, being a product manager directly translates into getting into very uncomfortable positions. It's pretty often, it's probably more often than what you expected before getting into this role. PMs are really there as vision leaders to lead different cross-functional crafts. We bring designers, data, and devs all together, and sometimes you're in a very uncomfortable position, and you have to be okay with it. At first, I am a personality where I tend to avoid conflict. I tend to preserve harmony, and I just try to be very empathetic and like, okay, I'll say yes to most people's requests, and I'm okay with that. But as I got into the APM program, I realized you are in this uncomfortable position for a reason, and it is because you have to make those decisions that ultimately drive forward the company, the strategy, and the mission. So I think it's both a very rewarding job, but it can also be a very challenging job at first. So that's the number one thing I've learned. Second, no one day is the same for a PM. No one problem is the same for a PM. So I know this is, we'll touch upon this point later, but my day on a Friday versus like a Monday can be drastically different in terms of the meetings I attend, the problems that I'm solving for, and sometimes the fires I'm putting out. So never come in with an expectation that this is what I will do. I'll have my meetings, I'll have my one-on-ones, and this is a bug bash we're doing. No, scrap that, and every day will be very dynamic, and that's really the whole fun thing about product management. Number three, you'll be working with this kind of correlates to the first point, but you'll be working with very different personalities, very different personas, and very different perspectives. So it kind of echoes my first point that you got to be uncomfortable working with these type of different situations, and you'll learn very quickly that there is an art to product management in terms of working with these differences, but also bring in kind of the shared vision that ultimately drive a product forward. So that is the third thing, which kind of relates to the first point, but I think is very rewarding in that aspect of being a PM.
What have you seen lead to an APM being successful?
Two things, I would say. Having a growth mindset. So the first is really, this is a learning environment. We have a very, very high caliber of PMs that are at Shopify, and you will have an opportunity to learn a ton. But with that comes putting aside your ego and being able to continuously keep trying and continuously embracing opportunities where you may have gotten something wrong or you may have not done it exactly in the right way, and using that as an opportunity to grow. So really taking this opportunity and thinking about, like, how am I going to get better every single time? PM is all about times at bat. So the more you go and pitch, the more you're unsuccessful, the better you will be as you go along in your career. The second thing really is taking initiative. I've seen far too many APMs be very reactive and kind of be on the receiving end of feedback, ask really open-ended questions like, oh, how can I be better? And really the way that you're going to be better is by taking initiative, seeing where there are opportunities and going that extra step and taking a first pass at, like, hey, I noticed we have this problem. This is my first pass at how we can address this. Or, hey, I noticed this opportunity. I went ahead and wrote a product brief for it anyways, and I would love your feedback. So be a lot more proactive than reactive. Take the initiative. Again, get those reps in, get that times at bat up, and that's actually going to help you be much more successful because you'll learn from those experiences. If you're kind of sitting, noodling on stuff for too long and you're not actually floating those ideas with leadership and getting alignment, you're actually not going to learn as quickly.
What is something you worked on while in the APM program?
One of the things I worked on as an APM was shop campaigns. So we were essentially trying to build a robo-advisor, but for buying ads. And I got to work on the email portion, which was really, really cool. And that product is doing exceptionally well now, and I'm excited to see where it'll end up.
So I just finished my first rotation, so let me give you like a quick TLDR. Broadly speaking, so for the first half of my rotation has been focused on research and execution. So I was able to ship small optimizations, whether those are UX optimizations or just platform optimizations for our team. And it really gave me the comfort level and building the trust with my team to be able to say, I understand how this team operates and how our product operates. So I was able to get these small wins along the way and to really kind of have the full on understanding of this is how product operates basically. As I got more and more comfortable with the product, I had the opportunity to take an idea from 0 to 1 in the second half of my first rotation. We'll be releasing this product in the next week or so I can't get too much the details yet, but I was able to lead a brand new surface from 0 to 1, and this will be a brand new tool that empowers all of Shopify merchants to unlock the power of Shopify. So stay tuned for that, and it will be the first thing a merchant sees when they log in their home feed. So exciting stuff.
How are projects and work assigned to APMs?
The important part is really you don't just get that right off the door. You gotta have charge the trust battery first and do like smaller things before you can actually shift something big. And I think I'm very grateful that I was given that opportunity. But problems come, like it's not like a problem will be presented to you on a silver platter. You have to do a lot of your own research and context gathering to be able to say, hey, I am confident that this problem is worth solving for. Because the APM program, yes, it is structured. Yes, we put in a lot of thought, in terms of the team matching and the lead that you're getting, but you'll never be given a beginner problem to solve with, right? You also find your own problem, and you have to be very confident and say that, hey, Glenn, VP of Shopify, or Archie, VP of Growth, this problem is worth investing in, this is worth solving for, and this is ultimately the impact that my product will give, or my product will ultimately impact Shopify and move the needle in this matter. So I think that relationship actually matters a lot more than just hey, I got this problem and I shipped the product and I achieved XYZ results.
Why would you recommend the APM program?
I recommend Shopify's APM program to honestly anyone I know who is really into e-commerce, because it gives you this great foundation to be a PM down the line. It provides you with one of the best practices in terms of building a company around product and e-commerce generally. and it gives you all of these people who are always willing to help, and it allows you to be one of those people who will help others someday.
So I think I've touched on a lot of those points in my previous answers, but ultimately, this program is one of the best APM program, or the best APM program, I think, in the industry right now, because of the level of trust that Shopify has given to APMs. Again, there is no beginner problem for an APM to solve. There is no, okay, we're going to teach you product 101 and this is a deck that you have to memorize. But instead, hey, this is a very ambiguous problem space. You as a product manager is equipped with these resources, so designers, developers, and data. These are the constraints that you might face in a real life setting. So migration problems, data problems, code red, things broke, this platform is down. And how are you going to get something from 0 or maybe 0.5 to an end state, whether that is 1, whether that's 10 or 100, right? It's all up to you to decide. And there is a lot of support, there is a lot of trust, but ultimately it is up to the APM to drive the strategy forward, to drive the product forward. So I absolutely recommend this program for aspiring product managers, with the caveat that this is a challenging program. You will have to grind through the next 12 months. It is not meant to be an easy way into product management. However, it is an extremely rewarding journey that you will remember forever. And I think it also opens up the opportunity for you to tell your story, like what I'm doing right now, to future aspiring PMs, and to work with one of the coolest companies in the world.
What advice do you have for someone applying to Shopify's APM program or starting their PM career?
My advice for anyone applying to the program is to, 1, be really genuine about what you've done, and 2, make a very explicit connection between what you've done and how you will really impact Shopify during your time here.
I would say the thinking process of the application is probably the most important in my opinion. And by thinking process, I want everyone to ask yourself 3 questions. Why are you interested in the craft of product management? What are your goals by the end of the program? And what is your plan in terms of reaching those goals? What is the tactics, the strategy in terms of achieving those goals? Because product can be anything. Really, it can be like you'll be solving very different problems in very different industries, doing very different product jobs. And to put in the context of Shopify and the company that we are running, Toby's mission of making commerce better for everyone, you got to put in a lot of the context in terms of how does Shopify and the role of a product manager fit into your personal trajectory, and what are your goals by the end of 12 months. So I think that's the thinking process that you want to lay out before even applying to the program, before even starting your application, and use those 3 questions as a game plan for your application. And as a former recruiter, I can say it will also help you kind of organize your thought process during the interviews as well.
I have a few pieces of advice. The first thing I'm going to talk about is skills. So you'll notice that PM strengths are going to vary widely across the types of PMs you talk to throughout your career. It's partially due to the fact that the PM role is very ambiguous in nature, but it's also due to the environment and the space that a PM operates in. So the most valuable PMs are ones who can fill the gaps on an R&D team to ensure the right thing gets shipped at the right time. That means that you'll need to be an expert on a lot of things. That's user experience, customer problems, quantitative data, context, and depending on the team you're in and the skills that are on that team, you might have to flex. You might have to fill the gap when there's not a data resource that's on your team. You might have to fill the gap when there's not a researcher on your team. You might have to fill the gap when your designer is off on vacation. So being able to flex those skills and have that in your back pocket is going to make you very successful. The more you can understand where the gaps are on a team that you want to join, the more you can position yourself to be successful and helpful on that team. So I would say, stop thinking about the PM role as a set of check boxes. I have to be able to do this. I have to be able to demonstrate this, but really It's a set of skills that have a sliding scale as to where you can flex. So you might be stronger in data, lean super heavy into your strengths and get yourself a role on a team that needs quantitative like data analysis PM. Find where the gaps are, especially when you're applying for roles or if you want to join a team, and be able to find a way to add value there. A lot of folks who don't come from a technical background, if you have really deep customer expertise, like be able to flex that. A lot of folks, including myself, to get into product, you find where there's an opportunity, for example, in customer success or in support, you go there and build up your expertise in your context, and then you apply that to your PM role as you transition. Second piece of advice that I have for you is there's a little bit of a misnomer that I think early stage PMs feel like they have to do it all. Like if they're not the person running the SQL report, or if they're not the person doing the interview, they don't get credit for it, and they're not being a PM. And that's actually not the case. Our job, again, as PMs is to make sure right thing gets shipped at the right time. We are responsible for the outcome. It doesn't mean we have to do everything in between. So learning how you can leverage your team, learning that you don't have to do everything yourself, learning that the most important thing is the outcome, not who did the thing to get to the outcome, and being able to package and drive that mission forward. That is what being a successful PM is all about. So again, like it's really, really good for you to have these skills in your back pocket so you can flex, but that's not all that the job is. The job is getting to the outcome, and you need to adapt and do whatever you can to help your entire R&D team get to that outcome. Cool. I hope this was useful.
Thank you everyone for watching our info session. I hope you learned something new and are excited to apply. As a reminder, applications open June 14th and close June 18th. So don't delay in submitting your applications. All the best and have a great rest of your day.